After getting wasted, I accidentally sent a whole rant talking trash about my boss to the office group chat. The kicker? I also included a tipsy selfie of myself. The next day, my boss sent me a message telling me to get downstairs because I was dead meat. Come on then. I thought, let's see how you're going to make me serve you. I tried to play dumb and act like nothing happened. Boss, that was my cat. He accidentally hit send. She was furious. Oh, so your cat knows what baby cakes means now. I'm officially screwed. I've been fed up with my stone-cold boss for a long time. Even though I've been her dedicated assistant for 2 years, I've been a jack of all trades for her. My memos are literally just a giant list of her personal taboos. Even a boyfriend wouldn't be this devoted. Yet Bianca Frost is still never satisfied. Except for eating, sleeping, and using the bathroom. She's in my sight at all times. If the pay wasn't decent, I would have quit ages ago. Tonight, a college buddy came from far away to visit, which gave me an excuse to escape. Otherwise, she would have dragged me to another business dinner and made me drive her home. After getting her home, I'd usually have to cook hangover soup and even take her dumb golden retriever out for a walk. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. 3 drinks in, I pulled out my phone and started venting. I'm a good person and I'm handsome. Speaking of handsome, I even sent over my latest selfie. Feeling myself. My cheeks were flushed. My eyes were sparkling. I was just the right amount of tipsy. Who wouldn't love a guy like this? But then I thought of Bianca Frost's cold attitude. And I kept typing. And you cold-hearted ice queen. All you do is exploit me and make me work unpaid overtime. If I owned this company, I'd fire you in a heartbeat and make you my simp so you could serve me for once. My college friend was across from me clapping. You're a legend. Most ranting feels great in the moment, but you're heading for a total train wreck. I immediately started to regret it. That's because I saw the group thread, crowdfunding Miles's funeral. Fluffy Bunny pledged 1 cent, Cookie Bear 2 cents, Night Owl 3 cents, Broke Socialite 4 cents, and Wolfie 5 cents. It was way too late to unsend. I planned to just play dead. But then my stone-cold boss messaged me, the photo is actually quite nice. Send it to me privately next time. I couldn't tell what she was thinking, so I didn't dare reply. Bianca messaged again, Miles, you seem very unhappy with me. Then came several voice calls. My phone vibrated so hard I almost dropped it into the hot pot. I finally picked up the last call, holding the phone as far away from my ear as possible. But her voice was so sharp it cut right through. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Bianca spoke first. Have you been drinking? I stuttered for a while, unable to say a damn word. On the other end, Bianca chuckled. You were so fired up in the group chat just now. And now you're mute. I replied loudly. Boss? What are you talking about? I was in the restroom. My college friend had my phone. My friend's hand slipped, and a piece of beef tripe fell into the pot. What do you think my IQ is? Bianca asked out of the blue. Einstein's was 160? So yours must be at least 180. Boss, who are you kidding? I thought. I had to save face, so I kept being stubborn. Oh. But I'm just so drunk. Bianca wanted to say more, but I just hung up on her. She texted back, just wait until I get my hands on you. I tearfully ordered 2 more servings of meat, fearing I wouldn't live to see tomorrow. Then Bianca sent another message, send me your location. Did I dare reply? Surviving was the priority. After hot pot, I took my friend to see the night views. I might as well enjoy myself one last time before I die. My friend praised my great mindset. It wasn't a great mindset. I just wanted to be fired with some dignity. I ignored Bianca's messages but secretly messaged a close colleague. She's a hard worker and usually the last to leave. While I had clocked out at 6 p.m. The boss didn't stay late today. Did she? Mr. Miles, you are truly a legend. A total legend. Hey, I'm just a man of the people. The boss has been up in her ivory tower for too long. She needs to hear from the subordinates. I thought. I just saw her leave with a very heavy expression while staring at her phone. My colleague said. I swallowed hard. She was definitely fuming because I didn't reply. I usually reply instantly, not because I'm a workaholic, but because I'm a night owl who always has his phone. I can't stand seeing those little red notification dots. Miles, will I still see you at work tomorrow? Thinking about Bianca's expression, I shook my head solemnly. Even though she couldn't see me, I thought, probably not. I decided to start sending out resumes as soon as I got home. Once I accepted my fate, I stayed out late with my friend, but before I even reached my apartment complex, I saw a familiar car from a distance. I turned around immediately, and the Ice Queen's call came in instantly. I panicked and hung up. Bianca probably hadn't seen me yet. I could still make a run for it. Miles, You've certainly grown some backbone. I hid behind a tree and typed, "Boss? I just woke up from a drunken nap. Is there something you need? I'm so wasted. Totally wasted. Since you're home. I'll give you 5 minutes. Get down here." My hands were shaking like a leaf. My phone vibrated again. "Or would you prefer I come up for a home visit?" I wanted to cry. I came out from behind the tree. Bianca was leaning against her car, tapping her fingers on the side mirror. The worst part was that she was smiling. Every tap felt like it was breaking my spirit. This woman is terrifying. I know her too well. This is the smile she gives when she's truly angry. If she were just stone-faced, there might be room for negotiation. It was a short walk, but it felt like a century as I tried to think of a plan. I shuffled over to her. Bianca arched an eyebrow. Decided to finally show up? I shrunk back like a startled quail. "It's not illegal to come home at midnight, right?" says. "It's not even midnight yet." Bianca crossed her arms and stared at me. "It's not illegal. But the insulting, the drinking, and the lying? That's where you're wrong. For someone who's usually so brief." That was a long sentence. I had a bad feeling about this. So, I pinched my thigh hard to squeeze out a few tears. "Boss, I was wrong," I whimpered. "I'm ready for my punishment." "What?" Before I could react, Bianca opened the car door and stuffed me into the passenger seat. My heart was in my throat. What kind of punishment involves this late at night? In the car, I gripped my seatbelt tight and leaned against the window, trying to breathe as quietly as possible. If I could just stay invisible, maybe she'd forget I was there. A second later, her voice rang out, "Miles," like a reflex. I barked, "Present, boss." She chuckled and looked at me. "Sobered up yet?" My cheeks were red as tomatoes. I bit my lip and stayed silent. It was just a few low-alcohol beers, and I only had half a bottle. Of course I wasn't drunk, but lying with a straight face has always been my specialty. "Your driving is just so good." But the breeze really cleared my head. "Since your tolerance is so high, next time don't just stand there. You can be my designated drinker." "You don't want to?" I wouldn't dare refuse. I really shot myself in the foot. Why did I have to talk trash? As the streetlights blurred past, I cautiously asked, "Boss, where are we going this late? What time is it?" "Not even 10 p.m. yet." I dimmed my phone screen and said carefully, "Boss, you work so late? I shouldn't keep you from your rest. There's a subway station right there. Thanks for the ride. You can just drop me off." Bianca ignored my question. "How long have you been with the company?" "Over 2 years. I joined right after graduation, started in the secretarial pool, and then became your full-time assistant. I don't know why, but even though I knew nothing when I started, Bianca handpicked me after 6 months. Because I moved under her, my salary was bumped up a level. First, she chewed me out constantly because I was clueless. Later, whenever we were alone or in meetings, I'd record everything and note down all her preferences. My living room is covered in sticky notes about her, every little detail. Slowly, the scolding stopped. Sometimes she'd even praise me, and I'd be happy for half a day. But the resentment was real. For 2 years, I felt like I was constantly with her. I had zero personal time. My college friend's daughter is already starting preschool, and here I am at 25, never even having been in a relationship. Right? "It has been a long time," Bianca replied dryly. My heart tightened. Was she actually going to fire me? I haven't been paid for this month. I have rent due, the credit card bill to pay, and a wedding gift to buy. The thought of it was painful. Dignity is nothing compared to money. I turned to show my loyalty. "Boss, I don't want to leave. I'll miss you so much." Real tears were actually starting to well up now. Bianca arched an eyebrow and said nothing. I went for broke and blurted out, "Boss, I was wrong. As the saying goes, fighting is a sign of love." Oh no, I was digging my own grave. Just as I was about to explain, Bianca pulled over and turned to me with a playful smile. "Now, who was it that said they were going to fire me?" She was definitely settling the score. I grabbed her hand, looking pathetic. "Boss, what I meant was, if I owned the company, I'd fire you so you could stay home and enjoy a life of luxury. You work way too hard every day." "Oh, and who is going to be someone's simp?" I immediately covered her mouth with my hand. "I meant, I'll take over the responsibility of taking care of the dog. I'm willing to serve it day and night." She moved my hand away and smirked. "I see." She started the car again. I asked with a trembling voice, "Boss, where are we going now?" Her smile made my heart race. "To my place. I think I'm done for." The next day, my back and waist were aching, and I was severely sleep-deprived. I managed to get to the office just in time and immediately collapsed onto my desk. Everyone swarmed around me. Fluffy Bunny asked, "Miles, were all those memes you sent last night a farewell gift? May you rest in peace. I've already saved the whole sticker pack." I lifted an eyelid weakly. HR hasn't notified me yet. Cookie Bear, the girl from HR, stepped forward. I waited all night for the fire miles order and got nothing. What a waste of a good wait. Thanks. I muttered. Night Owl checked in. Look at those dark circles. You didn't sleep at all. Did you? You must have been in total mental agony. I sighed. I really didn't sleep a wink. It was exhausting. Broke socialite looked shocked. Wait. You actually went to the boss's house in person? I nodded. The boss is really something else. Wolfie looked back and forth. Miles, am I going to have to start calling you the big boss soon? Get your head out of the clouds. I thought, yesterday. Bianca took me to her place and then made me walk her golden retriever, the one that just licks me and can't even catch a frisbee, around her complex for 2 hours. That furball was more excited to see me than Bianca. It dragged me around her complex for at least 10 laps. I did more exercise in one night than I've done in my entire life. I was ready to pass out the moment I got back. Bianca even sent a snarky message. Even a dog knows how to cuddle up to its owner after doing something wrong. You're not even as good as the dog. I replied tearfully. Boss, you already gave me my late night punishment. Let's not hold a grudge. Okay? Can we just act like nothing happened tomorrow? Then I spammed the group chat with a bunch of memes I usually save for special occasions to bury my previous messages. Hopefully, no one would remember. I was about to add another explanation, but everyone scattered. Bianca had arrived. I checked the clock. She was 5 minutes late. I sat up straight, eyes glued to my monitor. I caught her in my peripheral vision. Bianca walked over and tapped on my desk. Coffee. Then she went into her office. I grumbled behind her back. Usually, if I'm even a few minutes late, she gives me a hard time. But here she is. And no one says a word. She even has someone to bring her coffee. The world is so unfair. But when I entered her office, I put on my best corporate drone, fake smile. Boss, you've been working hard. No sugar. And the 140-degree water you requested. Perfect temperature. Enjoy. I'll be going now. Just as I turned, Bianca called out. Wait. I turned back like a loyal lapdog. Boss, bring your laptop in here. Huh. She looked up. Do you have an objection? A boss's orders are to be executed, not questioned. I scurried out to grab my laptop. When I came back, I quickly shifted into work mode. Boss, do you want to go over today's schedule? I gave her a quick rundown. Things should wrap up by 5. But she had a dinner party at 8. You're sitting here today. You're coming to the dinner party tonight. 2. I didn't know why she wanted me there, but experience told me not to ask too many questions. I was still on probation in her eyes. Silence was my best defense. I took a seat on the sofa and quietly organized my work, even slowing my breathing. Bianca didn't say a word either, just kept typing away at her screen. I sat through a few meetings with her all morning. At noon, I brought in the lunch I'd ordered for her. She stopped me. Bring it in and eat here. That might not be appropriate, boss. But do you have secrets in your lunch, boss? Have you ever heard of something called stinky snail noodles? After a pause, Bianca said sternly, don't tell me you want the whole office to smell like that for the rest of the day. I enjoyed every bite, but Bianca had tissues stuffed up both nostrils. I was holding back laughter, terrified a tissue might fall into her food. She glared at me. Miles, you're going to be the death of me one day. Since she actually let me eat stinky snail noodles in her office? I nodded with a grin. Boss, do you want a taste? It's really good. Trust me, one bite and you'll be hooked. She gave a cold laugh, stood up, and opened every single window in the office, then turned the AC up to the max. Clearly, she was at her limit. At 1:30 p.m., Wolfie from marketing brought his team in to film a leadership promo video. Their expressions were priceless. I sat perfectly straight, even sneaking some perfume while Bianca wasn't looking. I gave the marketing team a look that said, not my fault. It's all on the boss. They nodded knowingly. Blame shifted successfully. At the dinner party that night, there were many executives we'd met before. After years of following her to these events, things were pretty relaxed, and I could actually focus on the food. Then a new face, Mr. Sterling, came over to toast Bianca. I saw my chance. Thinking back to what she said last night, this was the perfect time to show off. I jumped ahead of her. Mr. Sterling, Ms. Frost has been having some stomach issues lately. Let me take this toast for her. I downed the glass in one go. Only then did I realize it was straight up white liquor. It burned my throat like fire. I tried to suppress a cough at the table, but the fumes were making my eyes water. But Bianca didn't look happy at all. She looked like she wanted to kill someone. Her face was dark as ink. I'd never had white liquor before, and my head was already spinning. I leaned in and whispered fuzzily, Boss, see how well I listen? You told me to be your designated drinker, and I did it. You can't punish me anymore. Under the table, Bianca squeezed my hand hard. Miles, you really have a way of getting under my skin. She was still mad. The tears I'd been holding back started flowing the moment she said that. She's so difficult. I apologized. I walked the dog. I drank for her, and she's still mean to me. So stingy. I was in a daze and didn't hear what she said to the others. But then she stood up and helped me out. Once we were outside, she crouched down in front of me. Get on. I instinctively flopped onto her back. Boss, are you taking me home? Bianca stayed silent. Yesterday was just a buzz. Today I was totally gone. Over the years, I'd taken a drunken Bianca home plenty of times. So, I started managing my own arrangements from memory. Boss, you know my address. Just drop me at the complex. And my key card is in my bag. If I can't find it, you have to help me. Okay? If the security guard stops you, just tell him you're my boss and you're bringing me home. He'll let you in. Bianca's voice vibrated from her chest. One more word and I'm dropping you right here. I immediately hugged her neck tight, terrified she'd actually leave me on the curb. That would be so embarrassing. My head was spinning, and I must have passed out in her car because when I opened my eyes, I realized I was back at Bianca Frost's place. Even though my head was pounding and my limbs felt like lead, my mind was semi-conscious. This was the first time in my life I'd felt this specific kind of drunk. It was a little trippy, but then I remembered how I'd stood up for her and blocked those drinks, only for her to try and dump me on the curb. That thought gave me a sudden surge of liquid courage. Boss, you can't be this cold-hearted. I slurred. I'm wasted. I can't walk your dog for you. Did I even ask you to? She snapped back, shoving a glass of water into my hand. Drink this and sober up. She was clearly trying to be caring. But why did she have to be so mean about it? Seeing that I couldn't even lift my hand, she sat down next to me, propped me up, and held the glass to my lips to feed me. I was overwhelmed. Bo, are you okay? I stammered. Bianca Frost just stood up with a cold expression. My body went limp, and I collapsed back onto the sofa. I tried to shake my head to clear it, but it only made me more dizzy. Through half-closed eyes, I watched her walk into the kitchen, having no idea what she was up to. A moment later, she walked back out and looked down at me. Where is the honey? I tried to point with my index finger, but I couldn't even lift my arm. I used to be the one bringing her home. Who would have thought the tables would turn like this? Second cabinet, I managed to say. Bianca Frost turned back without a word. She returned with a glass of honey water. She patted my back and then wrapped her arm around my shoulder to steady me. My head rested right in the crook of her neck as she brought the glass to my lips. It was so sweet. Seriously? Boss? She whispered, are you doing this on purpose? Doing what on purpose? I hadn't realized how soft and mushy my voice sounded when I was drunk. She set the glass down and suddenly cupped my face, pinching my lips into an O shape. Boss? I didn't get drunk on purpose. I mumbled. I didn't know my tolerance was this bad. She stared at me for a few seconds, let out a sigh, and let go of me. I lay on the sofa as my consciousness began to fade. I vaguely felt Bianca Frost carrying me to the guest bedroom and tucking me into bed before she left. A while later, it felt like she came back and picked me up again. My face felt itchy, like she was washing it for me, but it felt like hours had passed. As I finally drifted off completely, I thought I heard a faint sigh from far away. What am I going to do with you? You dummy. When I woke up the next morning in a strange bed, I was totally disoriented. The heck, the time crept. It was 11 a.m. I'd missed half a day of work. I wondered how much that black-hearted capitalist was going to dock from my pay. Then it hit me. I was still at Bianca Frost's house. Just kill me now. I quietly got out of bed and pressed my ear to the door. Aside from the occasional bark from that dumb dog, it was silent. I breathed a sigh of relief. Thank God the Ice Queen is a workaholic. At this hour, she had to be at the office. If we didn't see each other, we wouldn't have to deal with the awkwardness. I was just celebrating my luck when I opened the door and saw Bianca Frost sitting on the sofa with her laptop. This was ridiculous. Hearing the noise, she looked up at me. You sure can sleep. I scratched my head. Decided to go for broke. Boss? Can I count this as field work? She put the laptop down and stood up. Aren't you hungry? I wasn't until she mentioned it. But now my stomach was growling. I hurried over. I can't let you do that. Boss, I'll do it myself. She blocked me. Go wash up. Then she headed into the kitchen herself. In the bathroom, I realized the itchy feeling from last night was indeed Bianca Frost washing my face. For some reason, a strange emotion started bubbling up in my chest. I was grinning from ear to ear in the mirror, but then I caught myself. Why am I acting like this? When I finally came out, Bianca was just setting out a steaming bowl of seafood noodles. What did I do to deserve this? Eating a bowl of noodles handmade by the boss herself? This wasn't just a meal. This was a historic milestone of a boss actually showing some compassion. I mean, who else in the company has the privilege of having Bianca Frost cook for them? Only me. Seeing that I hadn't picked up my chopsticks yet, Bianca tapped the side of my bowl. What are you daydreaming about now? I snapped out of it. Nothing. Nothing. I was just wondering who's going to be lucky enough to eat the boss's cooking every day in the future. You want me to cook every day? Not a chance. She replied. Of course. Your hands are too precious to be wasted on cooking, I said, thinking this might be the only time I'd ever taste her cooking. I started shoveling the noodles into my mouth. Honestly, they were pretty good. I gave her a sincere compliment. Boss? You're amazing. You're great at work and great at cooking. Talented people really are better at everything. Miles, if you spent less time brown-nosing, you wouldn't still be making your current salary. She was acting so strange. Why was she suddenly rejecting my flattery? Usually, I could praise her to high heaven and she wouldn't say a word. After finishing, I took over dish duty, but I realized the apron strings were hard to tie. I walked out to ask Bianca for help, but I stumbled onto something definitely not suitable for children. Bianca Frost was in the middle of putting on a dress shirt. Her fair skin perfectly showcased her toned core, those killer abs and that sexy waist. As a total virgin who had only ever seen a woman's body on a screen, this live broadcast was a first. A wave of heat rushed to my head, and my ears turned bright red. I didn't even dare to look any further. Bianca, while fastening her buttons, glanced at me nonchalantly. Seen enough, enough. It occurred to me a second later, why was she changing in the living room anyway? I swallowed hard. But, could you help me tie this apron? She fastened her cufflink and walked over with those long legs of hers. I had never felt my heart race around her before, but now I could clearly hear it thumping in my ears. I turned around quickly, but I could feel her breath right by my ear. She leaned down, grabbed the ties from both sides, and I felt a tug at my waist. It was done. Bianca's voice was right above me, and even without facing her, I felt my cheeks burning. Thanks, but I said, about to bolt into the kitchen. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my arm and forced me to turn around. We were so close I could smell her face wash. My ears were on fire. She asked in a low voice, how are you going to thank me? Then her face zoomed in. A split second later, she kissed me. Her hand gripped my waist, pulling me closer to her. My eyes went wide. She chuckled softly. Close your eyes. It was like I was under a spell. I obediently closed them, not even having time to process what was happening between us. It was just a brief, light kiss before she pulled away, leaving me steaming like a tea kettle. I didn't even know what I was saying. Can someone tell me what I'm supposed to do now? I just got kissed by my stone-cold boss, Bianca Frost. Even a total idiot would know that this is something only couples do. Does the boss actually like me? She couldn't be more obvious. Alright, get moving. We need to get to work after you're done washing up. Alright? I hurried into the kitchen but immediately thought of something. I pulled out my phone and shouted to her from the door. Boss, since we've already kissed, as compensation, can you approve my fieldwork credit? I saw her face turn cold instantly, but strangely, I was happy. This was the cold ice queen I knew. That gentleness from a moment ago was actually kind of terrifying. That afternoon, we arrived back at the office one after the other. Wolfie sent me a private message. Miles, buddy, just tell me when I should start calling you Mr. Boss. I need to get on your good side early. Thinking back to that kiss, my heart started racing again. Wolfie, don't tease me like that, I replied. The boss's husband? You've got to be kidding. Kidding? Did you see her face when she walked in? She looked absolutely radiant. Did she? I didn't notice. That's because you were behind her. I saw it clearly. If that isn't the stink of someone in love, I don't know what is. Alright. I'm all ears. Tell me more. Think about it, he said. If I had talked trash about the boss like you did, what do you think would have happened to me? I thought for a second. Knowing her, he'd be out the door in minutes. But you're still here. Not only are you still here, but she even let you eat stinky snail noodles in her office. If that isn't love, what is? It hit me then. That knowing smile she gave me that day wasn't because I'd successfully shifted the blame. It was because she'd caught us red-handed in our little office drama. Man, you marketing guys really know how to spin a story, I replied. I know what I saw. She's had her eye on you for a long time. When you make it big, don't forget to put in a good word for me. Tell her to send more clients from broke socialite my way. I could hear the gears turning in his head from a mile away. Before I could reply, a message came from Bianca. Coffee. I quickly logged off and happily went to deliver her coffee. I really wanted to ask her if she'd been plotting this all along. At that moment, Bianca was rubbing her temples. When she saw me come in, she just gestured for me to put it down. How do I even ask? This is so awkward. Sure. Bianca Frost is prettier, classier, and has a better body than anyone else. But the idea that she's been into me for a long time, that seemed like a stretch. I have nothing to offer. I used to cause trouble and have her clean up my messes all the time. Even after I insulted her, she still punished me by making me walk her dog for ages. In the novels, someone of her status usually ends up in a power marriage with another high-powered woman. Or with a childhood sweetheart. Or at the very least, a shotgun marriage with a sweet little wife. I don't fit any of those tropes. But then again, if she didn't like me, why did she kiss me? After fidgeting there for a while, what are you thinking about? I blurted out. Boss, do you actually like me? Bianca stared at me for a few seconds and then burst out laughing. What's so funny? I walked closer to her to analyze the situation. I'm not exactly everyone's favorite snack. There's no reason for you to like me. Plus, we're from different worlds. What do you even see in me? She laughed even harder at that. It was weird. Bianca Frost never laughed like that. I leaned in a bit more. Boss, are you okay? Are you possessed or something? The laughter stopped instantly. She reached out, pulled me into her arms, and sat me right on her lap. I felt her grip on my waist tighten. Mouse, how old are you? I held up my fingers. 25. 25 and you still believe those cheesy novels? You think my dating standards are limited to those few tropes? Well, not exactly. I shifted into a more comfortable position and started debating her. I just think it's weird. I'm just an ordinary guy. Have you ever heard the saying, I cut her off? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder? Bianca wrapped her arms around me. You might be ordinary to others, but you're incredibly handsome to me. My cold boss just called me handsome, so it's okay to like a handsome guy, right? I never realized Bianca Frost actually had a romantic side. She's surprisingly good at sweet talk. Remembering Wolfie's words, I worked up the courage to ask. So, you've liked me for a long time then? Bianca gave me a quick peck on the lips and patted my head. Go back and think about it. Figure out exactly when it started. I walked out floating on air. I didn't get a single thing done all afternoon because I was too busy replaying every interaction I'd ever had with her, looking for clues that I'd been given special treatment. I even made a mind map. Before the end of the day, Bianca kicked me awake with a laugh. If you put this much effort into your actual work, you might be running the company soon. That woke me right up. Is she suggesting she wants me to be the boss? I must have built up some incredible karma to one day stand on Bianca Frost's shoulders and become a man of influence. The thought was exhilarating, but when I finally snapped out of it, I realized Bianca had followed me back to my apartment. I didn't have time to tidy up. She beat me to the living room and peeled a sticky note off the wall. She actually read it out loud. The Ice Queen is so annoying. She's so picky about a cup of coffee. 60-degree water? She should just glue a thermometer to her mouth. My heart skipped a beat. I rushed to block the wall between her and the notes, looking pathetic. It's a misunderstanding. Total misunderstanding. She reached out with her long arm and peeled off another one. Bianca Frost. It means she's only fit to be a VP. One day, I'm going to climb over your head. I grabbed her hand, nearly in tears. I was young and stupid. Please, have mercy. Bianca gave a cold snort. Mouse, I knew you had issues with me, but I didn't realize they were this big. I threw myself into her arms and held her hands down. Boss, don't be mad. Don't do anything impulsive. Impulse is the devil. She gave a chilling smile through gritted teeth. It seems last night's punishment wasn't enough. I shivered. If she was going to make me walk the dog all night, I was going to throw a tantrum right here on the floor. Instead, I got a sudden, deep kiss. Unlike the brief peck from before, she actually forced my lips open. I felt myself getting dizzy as the heat intensified. Bianca held my head, shifting from rough to gentle. Her lips were so soft and sweet, it felt like I was walking on clouds. If she hadn't been so hard on me before, I would have had a lot more material for my late-night dreams. When she finally let go, her lips looked incredibly tempting. One sticky note per punishment. That seems fair, doesn't it? I shook my head. But looking at the wall full of sticky notes, I was secretly thrilled. If punishment meant sweet kisses, then Bianca Frost was a total angel. I was tempted to stay up all night writing a whole new wall of notes. But as she was leaving, she whispered seductively into my ear, the punishment I'm talking about isn't just a simple kiss. She took my hand and slid it under her shirt, letting me feel her toned abs. And just like that, I was a goner. She patted my face. Next time, The stakes will be higher. My face was so red it looked like I'd dumped a whole box of blush on it. I couldn't sleep half the night. My brain was filled with adult content. I woke up early the next morning, thinking about what happened yesterday. I was rolling around in my bed like a twisted pretzel. I still couldn't believe had actually landed the boss. After staying pure for 25 years, fate finally handed me a massive surprise. Who doesn't love an office romance, especially with punishments like those? The more I thought about it, the more excited I got. I skipped breakfast and took a cab straight to Bianca's place. When the door opened, I saw a handsome guy sitting at the dining table. Bianca was serving him the same seafood noodles she'd made for me, but his had an extra fried egg. I was fuming. Yesterday I was her little Miles, and today she's cooking for someone else? Are her noodles some kind of buy one, get one free deal? No wonder she didn't pick up my call or reply to my messages. Turns out she was too busy with this guy to bother with a nobody like me. The guy glanced at me and teased, Bianca, is that your little secretary? I'm not a secretary. I'm an assistant, I said indignantly. The guy looked surprised. Is there a difference? Of course there is. Despite being angry, I started lecturing him on the difference between the two roles. Halfway through, I realized, we're supposed to be rivals. The guy just kept eating while I talked, finishing his bowl while I was standing there starving. Thanks for the lecture, I get it now, he said. You two enjoy your chat, I'll be going. As the door closed, I realized I'd been completely ignored. He didn't even see me as a threat. And through all of this, Bianca hadn't said a single word to me. I was livid. I turned to leave, but the golden retriever chose that moment to try and play with me. I pointed at the dog. I'm leaving too. Who are you going with? The golden retriever sat right between us, looking miserable, nudging me and then nudging Bianca. I was still mad. I glared at the dog. I'm telling you, if you don't come with me, you won't get any food. And no one will take you for walks. You'll be stuck in this house alone for the rest of your life. The dog nudged its leg toward me. Bianca burst out laughing. Why does this feel like a couple dividing assets in a divorce? Who's getting a divorce? Don't be so full of yourself, I snapped. She walked over. I don't understand why you're jealous. We weren't doing anything intimate. I crossed my arms and pouted. You made him breakfast first thing in the morning. Any guy could see what that means. I pressed her. So, what's his deal? Childhood sweetheart? Or just some boy toy? Bianca reached for my hand. There are no other options. I swiped her hand away. That's not enough. You want more drama? You're so greedy, she teased. He's my brother. He lives abroad and has been staying with me for a few days, so I made him breakfast. I was speechless. To apologize, I initiated a kiss. Bianca was surprisingly easy to appease. One kiss and her anger was gone. On the other hand, was becoming addicted to this new feature of our relationship. But as they say, I had more enthusiasm than skill. 3 months later, my kissing technique still hadn't improved. Sitting on Bianca's lap, I got teased. Your kissing is like being gnawed on by a dog. I got defensive immediately. You're the one being gnawed on. Say that again and I'm taking the golden retriever and moving out. You won't be able to win back a man, the dog, or a cat. Alright, I'll stop, Bianca said, coos like she was talking to a child. I smugly wrapped my arms around her neck. This is like martial arts training. You just need that one moment where everything clicks. Once my energy channels are open, I'll be a pro. I was about to lecture her some more on how practice makes perfect when Wolfie burst through the door without knocking. I forgot to lock the door today. We all froze. Wolfie was the first to react. Oh. Was looking for Cookie Bear. Yeah. It's almost the holidays and we still haven't finished hiring. Then he quickly backed out and shut the door. Our secret was officially out. I didn't dare stay in her office any longer and quickly made my exit. Wolfie sent a message. Big boss. Hope I'm not too late with the greeting. I replied with a string of ellipses. Suddenly, I was added to a group chat called, Has Miles been promoted to hubby yet? It was all the people who had pledged money for my funeral before. Congrats to the big boss on the promotion. Congrats, Miles. Don't forget us when you're rich and powerful. Comrade. I've already written the script for the annual party. The intern who talked trash and became the boss. It's going to be legendary. Boss. Take it easy on our time cards in the future. Okay, and just like that, the annual party arrived. Those guys weren't joking. They actually performed the skit with characters based on Boss Bianca and Miles. They even added plot points I hadn't even thought of. A clumsy assistant whose messes are cleaned up by the boss. An assistant who works hard in secret despite being dumb. Then he stops getting scolded. And as they spend time together, the boss falls for him and drops hints that he completely misses. Until one day, the drunken assistant rants about her, every word sounding like an insult. but actually filled with hidden affection. And it turns out the clumsy assistant had fallen for her long ago too. Seeing the story played out, everyone turned to look at me. I just kept my head down and ate. But my heart was overflowing with sweetness. To my surprise, Bianca had a performance too. She played the guitar and sang a song. She seemed so much softer and gentler while singing, and her eyes never left mine for a second. When she finished, the whole crowd was chanting, "This kiss." I ended up being pressured into drinking quite a bit that night. It was nice being the center of attention for once. After the party, Bianca took me back to her place. As soon as the door closed, she pinned me against it. I wrapped my arms around her neck. "Bianca, be honest, you fell for me first, didn't you?" She kissed the tip of my nose. "Some dummies just can't take a hint." Her breath on my face felt warm and ticklish. "Then you should have been more direct." She laughed. "I couldn't have been more direct. If I hadn't kissed you, you wouldn't have figured it out in a million years." I suddenly remembered those toned abs from months ago. "Whoa." I reached out and gave her a playful poke. Bianca's voice dropped an octave in my ear. "So, don't you think you deserve a punishment?" I beat her to it and initiated the kiss, since I'd finally gotten the hang of it. But things didn't stay G-rated for long. I definitely got punished. Eventually, I was pleading for mercy. "Boss? I was wrong." "Who are you calling boss?" she teased. I had tears in my eyes. "Bianca boss." She gave a cold laugh. "Think harder about what you should be calling me." "Bianca Frost?" I tried. Her face darkened. "Oh right, Boss Bianca?" That's not it either." She was so hard to please. As I was drifting off to sleep, she whispered something in my ear. I rolled over and mumbled, "Wife." She pulled me closer, and I could tell she was incredibly happy. Good boy. Women really are obsessed with that word. I wanted to say she still needed to pass a probation period before becoming my wife. But as I fell asleep, I felt her take my hand and slide a ring onto my finger. So, this was it? She really knows what she's doing. But if she wants to pass probation, I'm going to need a lot more than just a wall of sticky notes. The dream was beautiful, even if reality is tough. Before I could finish that thought, I was out. In my dream, Bianca was looking at me, and I was smiling back, saying, "I do." As for her final promotion, we'll just have to see how Bianca Frost performs from now on.